Hussites. Oh my god, Hussites. So it's Europe and it's like 1400. Well, the kings of England have all just been like, man, France is nice, and just tried to fucking take it in the 100 Years' War. As if anyone would want France. It hasn't been that long since like a third of the population just straight died from the plague. And all the knights and the gentry just spent like a couple of decades trying to keep the peasants down because they were trying to rise up and overthrow civilization. Over in Spain, the Spanish are struggling to kick out their Moroccan Muslim invaders. Meanwhile, the Eastern Roman Empire, just now fallen, the Turks walking all over, taking all the land, taking the empire, and strolling up towards Austria as they go. Everyone in Europe thinks that Muslims are going to take over the whole world. And unless you're a Russian, one of the like 5 Romans left in the empire, being a Christians mean you fucking love this guy. Okay, not him, but you know, whoever the Pope was then. Because Jesus says the Pope gets to run the church. Everyone says so. So Popey there is fucking loaded. He owns kingdoms and a strip of land clear across it. He don't give a shit what the local governments think. The local governments his bishops are out living with. Church authority is way above secular authority. The Emperor of Germany once, he tried to go up against the Pope. The Pope was just like, you're not the Emperor no more. And the German barons, they were all just like, well, shit, I guess we don't have an Emperor anymore. Oh, geez, I guess that means I'm in charge of myself. Oh, that's nice. And so the Emperor had to go crawling on his hands and knees through the snow and ice to beg the Pope, please give me my empire back, and eventually he did. But the church has got it nice. They have got it, just everything is posh as shit. Well, up in England, John Wycliffe shows up and says, guys, I'm pretty sure Jesus wouldn't like this. Let's just sell this shit and use the money to end poverty. Let's do what the Bible says. Also, let's translate the Bible to languages people actually understand. Come on, girl. But girl, the church don't give a shit. But word about what Wycliffe was saying gets out, and in Bohemia, a preacher dude named Jan Hus hears about it, and he likes it, and he goes around preaching it. The Bohemians like it too, but the Catholic Church don't like it, so they order a trial, and they promise Hus protection if he shows up. So he shows up. Well, that's a bad idea. They find him guilty of heresy and burn him at the stake, and the Bohemians are pissed. That was a national insult, and the people and the nobles and even the government is mad. A lot of the local nobles replaced the Roman Catholic priests with ones who followed what Hus said. After going back and forth for a while, the king sides with the Catholics and kicks out all the Hussite nobles, and also puts all the Catholic priests back. But the Bohemians liked Hus. They came together into 2 groups. The moderates just like Hus, and they wanted to reform the church, some but leave the hierarchy all in place. The extremists hated monasteries. They wanted to ditch the church hierarchy, and they said the only law that ever counted anywhere was from the Bible. The moderates mostly lived in the capital, Prague. The extremists lived all over, but eventually they founded their own city, Tabor, and they're called the Taborites. Well, in 1419, a Hussite pastor named Jan Zalewski leads his church to the Prague town hall to protest the imprisonment of some Hussites, and a scuffle breaks out. The congregation busts into the town hall, drags around the town council and judge, and throws them out a window where they land on a bunch of spears or something and die. Well, when the king hears out about this, he flips his shit, and he goes and dies too. His brother Sigismund inherits the kingdom, but this just happened to be the same dude that promised Hus his safety, then went back on his promise. Well, now everyone in Bohemia is a fucking Hussite. By now they're all just, haha, no, we got this shit. We don't need a king, we got this shit. The Hussites are in charge, and they kick out all the Catholics left, who are Germans anyway. But then the old queen shows up, with an army of mercenaries. She tries to take Prague, and the city gets fucked up. The sides end up calling an armistice, and the city is split between them. The Hussite general is this total badass named Jan Zizka, and he doesn't like the compromise peace, so he goes off south, finds the radical Taborite Hussites, takes their army, and wins a couple battles against the Catholics, just to show the moderate Prague Hussites how it is done. So Tabor sort of becomes the capital of the Hussites. In the meantime, they turn into weird, freaky pseudo-communists. So the peasants and the city people allied and created an egalitarian democratic government under 4 captains of the people, one of which was Zizka. Well, everything is a massive clusterfuck now, so the Pope calls a crusade. A bunch of Germans show up for all the good pillaging and besiege Prague, but they're no match for the Hussites.